Believe it or not, these guys right here are becoming more popular. We're not talking about the actual people, but what they're holding up. That is why today is the one day out of the year that local record stores are coming together to celebrate Record Store Day. And Patrick Floyd from Waterloo Records is here to fill us in on what this day means for music. Those guys look pretty happy in that video.
Pretty exciting. It's an exciting day.
Yeah, you're telling me people are already lined up outside Waterloo.
I haven't been there this morning, but last night we had our first person stake out their spot in line a little after 10 p.m. and we don't open until 10 this morning.
What are they trying to get their hands on?
It's just really exciting. There's over 450 releases, some of them in very small quantities, so people just want to be at the front of the line, so they're the first one and you think start scanning. I want one of those. This is something I read about. It's got a little, it's Easter season. It's got a little bit of that find the Easter egg feel. You want to get something fantastic that you couldn't get your hands on if someone else gets in before you.
Let's talk about the history of Record Store Day.
Well, 2008 was the first Record Store Day. Over 1,000 independent record stores in the United States got together and they said there's something special about what the service we're trying to provide, our place in the community, so let's celebrate that. And now we're in the 7th year of Record Store Day and it just grows every year. Yeah,
we've got some stats up here on the screen today. Expected to be 450 record store releases. 1,200 retailers are participating and vinyl sales are up while digital and CD sales are down.
Yeah, there's some fluctuation going on. It's obviously a dynamic time in music. People can get their hands on music from so many different sources. Something about putting a wax disc and letting it spin and having the album cover you can hold, that's something that has a pull for people who've been listening to music for 50 years, but there's also an excitement and an authenticity for someone who's just getting into kind of developing their musical tastes.
I think if somebody had a crystal ball and you knew iTunes and Amazon and Spotify were all going to be here, we would be saying there's no way that Waterloo would still be able to survive.
Well, again, there's challenges to it, but the excitement is there also. Every time someone gets a chance to hear new music, and there's just so many outlets where people get exposed to stuff, every time that happens, there's one more set of ears that now they're looking for, well, here's an experience I'm drawn to. So I think it's a challenge, sure, but as you saw, vinyl is resurgent in part because it seems like you can hold it in your hand. It's tactile. It's something, this is part of what I support and part of what makes it, it's something about sharing music, like, oh, let me, flip this disc over, you aren't going to believe what's at the start of side 2. Yeah,
and the quality and the sound for true music lovers is very different.
Well, sure, from the very beginning when CDs came out, there have been some criticism, and a lot of that technology has improved a great deal, but there's something about when the information is encoded on a piece of material that you don't actually even need electricity to get the sound out of a vinyl record. So there's something really, again, it's something authentic, I think.
Are your hours different today?
No, our hours aren't different. We have a lot of different things scheduled. So we open at 10 a.m. as usual. There's going to be a great rush at the beginning of the day, probably be one in, one out for a little while. But then throughout the day, we've got things. We're giving away turntables and a couple guitars. And at 5 o'clock, we've got local band The Black Angels are coming in to do a signing. So there's kind of the initial rush, and then throughout the day, there's new reasons to come on in if you didn't want to be involved in the greatest throng of the day.
All right, busy day for you. Thank you for making time for us this morning.
Sure.
Have fun.
Thanks.
All right, we'll have more information about it on our website at KXAN.com.